All right, man, peace. So, mercurial power forward of the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green, was recently asked what he thinks the Cleveland Cavaliers would have done had the Golden State Warriors not signed Kevin Durant. And he provided a very honest answer, the same answer that I've given many of you brothers for the last year and a half in regards to how important the Kevin Durant acquisition was for the continuance of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. So anyway, they're going to talk about it and they're going to chime in.
We're talking about another game tonight, our League Pass game of the night. While we're on the subject of some of the Warriors, it is Warriors at Cavs, which, last year was a Christmas Day matchup. This year it's just a League Pass game of the night. And Draymond Green reflected on the big change in the dynamic between these two teams and what might have been if the Warriors had never gotten KD. Here's his quote: "They probably would have won one more."
I agree, because once again, had the Warriors not made that change, the Cleveland Cavaliers would have had a psychological hold over the Warriors just from coming back from down 3-1. Psychology and the mental aspect is so important in competition, whether it's in professional sports or anywhere else where two people or two factions are trying to see who's better. And there's no doubt that the Cleveland Cavaliers had a mental hold over the Warriors well into the next season, even after the Warriors had KD. Because if you remember, the first time that they played was on Christmas Day. The Golden State Warriors were in Cleveland. They had a relatively big lead down the stretch, and Cleveland came back. LeBron had a huge dunk where he hung on the rim. Kyrie Irving hit a turnaround jump shot over Klay Thompson. They still had that mental hold. And had Golden State not brought in Kevin Durant and they still had Harrison Barnes, I'm telling you, Golden State would have had a better regular season record. But in the playoffs, it would have been the same thing. You know what? I'll give Golden State the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, quite possibly, they would have been able to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers had they stayed fully healthy all the way throughout the regular season and the playoffs. But that series would have went 7 games again. It would have came down to the last game, the last quarter, possibly the last shot again. Because Kevin Durant nullifying LeBron James was so important. And people forget how dominant Cleveland looked in the playoffs in 2017. I can't even remember if the Cavaliers even lost a game before they got to the finals. Either they were undefeated or they had lost maybe one game prior to entering the finals against Golden State. They were extremely, extremely dominant in the 2017 playoffs. But KD nullified LeBron James. And the team game aspect that the Golden State Warriors were so great at shone through in regards to all their other components against all of the other Cav components. And then on top of that, of course, the Cavaliers started to fall apart because of what was going on in the locker room with Kyrie and the other players and LeBron and all that other stuff. But who knows? That may not have ever even came to the forefront had Golden State not had Kevin Durant to nullify LeBron James, because that's pretty much what he did. Kevin Durant slightly outplayed LeBron in the finals, and people forget Steph Curry slightly outplayed Kyrie Irving in the finals as well. Steph Curry almost averaged a triple-double in the 2017 finals, but people forget that because of the narrative about Steph Curry not playing well in the big spot. The false narrative, may I add.
That's interesting to me. Kyrie probably would have never left. Things would be a lot different, but hey, sucks. Sorry about it. Gotta roll with the punches.
Draymond is a master troll. Like I state, he's like a bad chick. He's like a bad girlfriend. Sometimes he's funny and charming, and sometimes he's a big asshole. Unfortunately for him, I think that he's going to be blamed for Kevin Durant leaving the team. But what he stated is very funny, because it's very clear that Draymond's intent, his purpose, his goal is to make the Cavs fans feel as miserable as possible. He said they probably would have won one more. I agree. Kyrie probably would have never left. In other words, Draymond's trying to say that had the Cleveland Cavaliers been able to win another championship, that would have seduced Kyrie into staying for one more season, even though it's very clear that he and LeBron could not stand one another. And Draymond's probably right. He said things will be a lot different, but hey, sucks. Yeah, they would be a lot different. Because if LeBron James goes to Cleveland and wins back-to-back championships in Cleveland, they're definitely talking about him as being greater than Jordan. They're talking about that now, and he's 3-6 in the finals. Can you imagine if LeBron James had won back-to-back titles in Cleveland with Kyrie Irving defeating the Golden State Warriors? They definitely would be pushing the LeBron James propaganda had he won back-to-back. Draymond says, but hey, sucks, sorry about it, gotta roll with the punches.
That's a quote that you say when you win, like, oh yeah, hey, if that would have happened,
what are you gonna do? Hey,
Yeah, to rub your face in it.
Don't want to hear that, man. I'll tell you that.
T-Rev, what do you think seeing that?
Listen.
Do you think that's true? Do you think the Cavs would have won another one if KD hadn't come?
I think they would have had a great chance of winning one if KD never showed up. Absolutely. They never had a chance with KD being on that team.
Absolutely not. The Cleveland Cavaliers had no chance to defeat the Golden State Warriors, especially after I saw Game 1 of the 2017 Finals, the way that Kevin Durant was balling, the way that he was lighting up LeBron. You could see that LeBron was intimidated just by the notion that there was a player on the other team who could equal him out, who could zero him out. He had never seen that before, not in a big spot. Because KD, people forget, KD was great stat-wise in the 2012 Finals against LeBron. But his aura was not there. He was not mature enough. KD averaged 30 points a game on 50% shooting in those finals. But LeBron was a man in those finals. KD was still a young man. He was still a young whelp trying to mature into a full-grown lion. In the 2017 finals, KD showed himself to be a full-grown lion. And he went out to attack the ruling lion on the Serengeti. And he pretty much tore LeBron up.
So, yes, there's some merit to what he's saying. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm with Draymond. I've said before, I would have picked the 2017 Cavs over the same holdover non-KD Warriors.
I agree. I would have picked the Cavs to win the championship again that year. Because once again, that hold that they had mentally, the way that the Golden State Warriors walked off the basketball floor after the 2016 finals, they were done. They were done mentally unless they brought in a rejuvenating force. That's why Steph Curry was all in on courting Kevin Durant. They were very smart to do so.
2017 Cavs team that absolutely mowed over the East like it wasn't even there. I would have picked them to beat. The interesting question is, all right, so you take KD off the Warriors. Was he on the Thunder? Maybe the Thunder win. I mean, they're not in the discussion. But
right, no, absolutely. And then, of course, you had the comments a couple days ago to Anthony Slater of The Athletic where Klay Thompson said that, hey, that Halloween cookie party where they put the tombstones of the other guys on it, and you know that's LeBron's party. You've been around LeBron when he gets dressed up for Halloween. He called that petty, and he said, see what they got after that 1-8 NBA Finals games.
I believe he called.
Klay doesn't even remember that shit. Klay was smoking some weed. They probably asked Klay, hey, Klay, what do you think about the Halloween cookies that LeBron James made? Oh, you mean the Halloween brownies? Do they got some good shit in them? Because if they do, I'm down. They said, no, Klay, we're talking about the Halloween cookies LeBron made, man. Not some weed brownies. They said, oh, okay, yeah. That was Bush League. Next.
Called them bums.
I believe he did. So, it all goes into the mix.
Yeah, you can say what you want to say.
The scoreboard, is that what it is? In the end, it's the different.
Look at Klay. Oh, yeah, ha, that was funny. Look how that turned out. Psh, bums, that was crazy. I forgot about that. Well, look at what pettiness gets you one day in the finals. Idiots. Yo, Klay Thompson's a funny dude, man. He said, I forgot about that. Of course you did. You're too busy smoking your weed, bro. Allegedly.
It's extremely hard, and I want to, get this across to people that are watching. It's the hardest thing in the world just to get to the finals.
Yes.
And for me personally, after LeBron left, you understand how.
You see how far LeBron James was going with all this 3-1 shit? The reason why he was doing it is because deep down, he knew, and the Cavalier team knew, that they were not the better team overall that season, and they had no business winning those finals. And you could tell in the aftermath of them winning the finals how LeBron conducted himself. Remember, that was the offseason where he started to attack Michael Jordan. That's when he started saying, I'm chasing the ghost of Jordan, and, oh, well, Jordan had help too. John Paxson hit the shot, and Steve Kerr hit the shot. Like, he was going out of his way to all of a sudden start attacking the legacy of Michael Jordan. He had never did that before. He always tried to avoid that topic, but that showed you what was in his heart the whole time. And that started after they came back from down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors, and he was trying to stretch that moment out all the way into the next season because he knew they were not going to win the championship again.
How hard it is just to even get to the playoffs, so you just have to live in the moment. Do what you're supposed to do and just play the game.
I'm going to challenge that, CB. It wasn't that hard for Bron to get there.
Well,
I mean, the man went to 9
For him, me, I haven't been back since. You know,
Tracy, you're gonna make me say it. He's not the only one who had a hard time in the playoffs. Don't sit there.
No. I get it. It is hard, but for some people.
Well, yes.
The problem with T-Mac's career is that he was a great scorer who handled the ball. He needed a great point guard. If he could have played with a Jason Kidd, they definitely may have won a championship, because the way in which T-Mac could score, even in that very defensive era of the early 2000s, he would have won a championship. People forget they were very close to signing Tim Duncan, and they brought in Grant Hill, even though Grant Hill was hurt. Had Grant Hill been healthy, they would have been right there. T-Mac's problem was that he needed that other wing, that other player who could control the offense. They put everything under his control, and he got overwhelmed by it.
I understand. And by the way, that loops back to the beginning of this conversation and what Kevin Durant was saying, right? Because he's saying, oh, this one person might not want to play with LeBron, this person might not want to play with LeBron. The League Pass game of the night with the Cavaliers tonight, they know what it's like when LeBron leaves. Chris, you know from the Miami Heat what it's like after LeBron moves on. You can say whether you do or don't want to play with LeBron, but you know what it's like when you don't play with him anymore.
Well, you know, it's funny. The funniest thing was everybody just expected me to go back, like, oh, we're going to get the old CB. And it's like, no, I'm not.
I'm older now.
Yeah. I start getting the games, 20, 30 touches a night on the block. That's just not, the game started to shift, and it's not conducive to my age and where I was in the game. So you have to figure out different ways to be effective.
That's a great point, by the way, because people have said the same thing about Kevin Love coming into the season, and of course he got injured, but I think the same thing is true, right?
For sure. So, I mean, he's been, spotting up. They did a good job of getting him touches down low and making sure he felt a part of the offense. But now what does that look like now? I mean, Kevin put us on your back, and that's hard.
It is.
Yeah, Kevin can't do that. Once again, I believe that Kevin Love is going to come back just in time to show teams that he can be a help for them right before the trading deadline. Expect a team like Oklahoma City to try to pursue a Kevin Love. I think that he'd be great for them. He would provide some much-needed shooting and rebounding for them to assist Steven Adams.
This is very hard. Absolutely hard. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Love when you stop by. Come see us in LA.
Of course.
There we go. You guys stick with us.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. I just thought that was very funny that Draymond Green is still in pursuit of the attention of the Cleveland Cavalier fans. I think that they're going to be the distraction that Draymond's going to use for the rest of his career. Whenever he's feeling down or he needs a pick-me-up, a smile, he's just going to turn to Cleveland. But anyway, peace.